let's get into the trending topics now, because I think John Steenhuisen is also right at the top there. But it's John Steenhuisen and it's also Mpopalatse. So all things around the DA elective conference, and there you can see is John Steenhuisen coming up and accepting it, re-elected into the position. With what looks like much jubilation from the crowd there. So John Steenhuisen basically says that his party's #1 priority is to prevent an ANC-EFF coalition. That's what he is focusing in on, and that's what he's had to say afterwards. And this was when he was speaking at that Congress in Midrand, and he apparently got 83% of the vote. So it was quite an overwhelming vote in his favour.
17% from Mpopalatse. But of course, one of the other things that got the Twitterati going was John Steenhuisen declaring the EFF enemy #1 for the Democratic Alliance. And as you can imagine, people have had all sorts of things to say around that. Incidentally, John Steenhuisen will be here on Morning Live in about an hour's time.
Indeed. So looking forward to that conversation. And if you'd like to pose any questions to him, or you want to add that into the question of the day, or just suppose give him a message, go for it. We'll pass them on, as many as we possibly can. So we're looking forward to it. But that's happening in the next hour here on the program. Okay, next trending topic, Mar-a-Lago. And this is all around Trump. And
all around Donald Trump. And then, of course, again, no surprises here. I suppose it's a developing story, and this is now where it's at. Trump spending the weekend at his Mar-a-Lago residence. But, of course, the indictment is the main issue here. And Donald Trump becoming the first president of the United States, former or sitting, to be charged with a crime.
Yeah, indeed. So Tuesday's the big day, and the whole story of him appearing in court, and you know, is he going to have the mugshot? Is he going to be wearing any of those handcuffs, which they said they're not going to handcuff him?
Yeah,
but anyway, it's going to be interesting.
But you know, human beings are interesting.
Yeah.
If he is charged with a crime, and like the rest of us, why wouldn't he be mugshot?
Oh, that's the truth.
Like, why wouldn't he be fingerprinted?
Oh, it's good. Something about Animal Farm. Have you read that book? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. We've been here before. We know what this is all about. Anyway, so that's Mar-a-Lago, but certainly going to be a big week for Donald Trump, the former U.S. president.
Indeed.
Okay, so here's an interesting one for you, is the New York Times one. So, you know, there's so many changes happening on Twitter and social media.
All the time.
Of course there is. And of course there's always that verified tick. And, you know, the blue tick was the big thing. And so now, as you know, Twitter want to remove the blue tick away. And it becomes a subscription-based thing now, that you've got to basically pay for this blue tick now on Twitter. But the New York Times have put their foot down and said, nope, absolutely not. So Twitter removed the verified badge from the New York Times' main account. This happened yesterday. And they're saying a move that billionaire owner Elon Musk pushed for overnight after learning that the news organization would not pay for its blue Twitter service.
That sounds just like Elon Musk.
It sounds like him, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like totally what you'd expect him to do. I don't know. Much ado about nothing?
Maybe.
Storm in a teacup?
Who knows?
However you would like to phrase that.
No idea. So, yeah, if you look at it, it is the New York Times, but they just don't have the blue tick. I'm looking at the yellow tick. What is the yellow tick now? Do you have any idea? Because there are news organizations like Al Jazeera and the ones that I'm looking at here, Bloomberg and the Washington Post and Reuters, they got a yellow badge. So what does the yellow badge mean? There's a blue badge and a yellow badge.
We'll learn in time.
And New York Times, no badge. So,
in time, we'll get to know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. Have a look at it. So it's quite interesting. And then I leave the last one to you. Chelsea.
Last one. Hashtag Chelsea. The Blues from Stamford Bridge. Now, they sacked Graham Potter, their manager. And I suppose no surprises. Poor Graham Potter's just had the worst time at the Bridge. After replacing Thomas Tuchel. But of course, lots being said about what is going on at Chelsea. Firstly, they bought out Graham Potter from the remainder of his contract at Brighton to come to Stamford Bridge. That cost them about £21 million. And apparently, they will have to pay him another £60 million for the remainder of his 5-year contract. So that makes it 81 million pounds just on Graham Potter.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, lots of talk about the players that they have brought in during the January transfer window, and still things just not clicking at the Bridge.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, there you
Who's
go.
going to take that job next? That's the million-dollar question.
Let's leave it there. So those are your trending topics for now.